Sweet.
Five.
Hi everyone. This is Makiko from Lakey Lab, and we have a crew member here, as usual. Zakaru, Valerie, new guest Ray the Star, Ryan, as you know, everybody know him, Mac, and Kami. And I'm greeting to all those people who probably listening this as an archive from YouTube. Welcome, welcome. We have a very special session today. I had a private reading by Andrew Bartis the other day, and make sure that I include many topics that are relevant to many of you. And there's a couple of segments I like to highlight. With the help of Zakaru, he was able to surgically dissect the key session for all of us to be blessed and enjoy. So I stop here, and I will pass the mic to Zakaru so he could have a control over the audio, and he's gonna learn it segment by segment. All right, go ahead, Zakaru.
Here's one thing that with contract revocation. Yeah, we both as scientists, like the four of us scientists, according to Dorian, and we made an irrevocable cosmic contract as a group of scientists, and then
now you're talking my language. Because I have tried to explain these scientific, spiritual scientists, and let me reiterate, spiritual scientists who made irrevocable contracts to be in the ancient future, no matter how much these other whiny little bitches wanted to change them, you were still going to manifest in the future because you made that irrevocable contract.
Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You had the ability to see into the ancient future. Quite literally, you saw Mikiko of now as a 48 million year old being.
Holy.
And that's where you created that unrevocable contract that says, I will be Mikiko in the ancient future, and I give the middle finger to anyone who's going to try to stop me.
All right, that was that one.
Excellent.
Any comment?
I just want to add something. So both of us went to Dorian because of this, seem to be they have some kind of the contract. It's blocking us from going forward. Now, when she explained more, she explained as more negative sense, and when she did treated me in a sense that to break the irrevocable contract by this cosmic being, I didn't feel much after. And I realized later, either it didn't work because it's irrevocable, or this is not something to break, right? And then when Andrew downloaded this information, it resonated me so much more because this is a more line of the truth. So I just want to give you my 10 cents of all the channeling, all the message I see to combine. It always, always, always you, the light one. You hold the truth. Whatever the truth, the important for you, the time now, you have to really believe your gut feeling, your heart. And the truth is different by the being who interpret or the state of being you are that moment. And there's no one truth as we all know it, but we need to digest the information at that moment, and you and your higher self know the best at that time for your growth. So all I'm saying that you need to stick to one truth at the one moment because you can't really have a reference otherwise to go which way or not. So this case is a good example. For me, I take Andrew's interpretation because it feels so light about it. And more and more think about it, why the group of scientists gonna make irrevocable contract against ourselves, knowing all the things happen before and later, right? Even though somebody gun pointed at us, like Dorian said, we all know we're gonna come back. So it makes so much more sense that his theory is more resonate with me. Now I stop here. I just kind of want to see how Zachary, how you felt when you heard from Andrew, and it's just kind of go around everybody else.
Yeah, well, like talking about Dorian, it could be too when we start a session with her, we give that permission statement to release what no longer serves us and keep what does, right? So, and I think our higher selves, our other aspects, look out for us for like this situation with an irrevocable contract. And then, but that was my gut. We had talked about that, knowing a little bit of contract law, which I'm sure Stargazer does too, with the legal name fraud and all that stuff. You know, you can't have a valid contract that's made under duress. If somebody's put a gun to your hand, it's like being in the courts in the United States. It's not a valid contract. You're being forced into it. And you're not of a sound state of mind if you're all depressed and sad and remorseful of something. You know, you can't enter a contract in that state. It's not a valid contract. So that was like a thought that kept running through my head about it. And then when Andrew brought out his information that we actually outfoxed the fox, that was like, wow, that's like confirmation for me. Yes.
For you, so it's for you. It's a confirmation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We guaranteed we would be here now to save the Earth, to make amends or whatever, you know, however you want to look at it. We guaranteed that we would be here now, and that really makes a lot of sense. And it just feels right. You know, it feels right.
Look at you. You couldn't speak in the beginning of this class, and it became dolphin noise or chipmunk. We went to awkward face, and now look at you. You look like a completely different person. But you are more you. Do you feel you are more you now?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Dorian did such great work on me. And I've had some of it come back in waves, you know, and release things that she said probably would happen and stuff. But just the information, knowing, has been a lot. And I could physically feel the changes right away in things that I described a couple of weeks ago. But
That's fantastic.
each layer that gets added on, now Andrew tells us it was actually guaranteeing we would be here to pick up the pieces and get the job done, you know, this time around.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Very cool. And like I said, I was saying when you dropped offline, Makiko, my hunch is that everybody here was possibly one of the scientists. I don't know if you heard me before.
I was thinking like a Valerie for sure.
Everybody's my hunch. Ryan, Todd, Mac, you know, Dar, Michelle, Todd, that aren't here today, Dave.
Well, one thing I know, if you are born in America over here, likely you are born in America, you already inherited mass contract as a people on this continent.
Yeah, I think what she was saying there is most people in American continent, you dropped out for a second there, Makiko, but are from Atlantis. We're holding Atlantis contracts. A lot of the people here are the descendants, direct descendants, that experienced Atlantis and the ups and the downs. The downs are really very short, right?
Yes.
Atlantis was this just amazing emerald cities, right, in Atlantis. Atlantis was all over the globe, I think.
Yeah, kind of, yes.
Thousands of years, and it was just a handful of years that was all the trouble.
Well, that's where the corruption at the highest level happened. And then I'm carrying a Romanian from Japanese descendant, so I have both Romanian and Atlantis. But they are basically the same species. They didn't know when they are fighting. fighting, against each other without knowing they're brother and sister. So it's a lesson.
Makiko, aren't we all fighting against each other, not knowing we're brother and sister?
Or exactly, even to this day. So it's a lesson. But also it's important information about America. We are recreated Atlantean time, meaning that.
Right. I did read that we here in America are the basically reincarnation of the Atlantean people.
Oh, a mass contract, inherited as a mass contract. So yes, and a lot of things you said now, it's a lot of truth in it. Basically, America, as how Atlantis destroys themselves is a technology. It was very spiritual people, and technology made us separate from the natural way living with the planet. And as a learning lesson, the people begin to follow the power over the mystical experience, and that's how things begin to take a turn. Now, I'm gonna stop here. Anybody else like to chime in to this? Ancient future now, spiritual scientist practice, irrevocable contract.
I didn't think that there would be able to have some sort of contract that's irrevocable. But when I just heard what Andrew told you, the irrevocable contract is a revocation. Like it's you saying, I will be able to do a revocation and will be here right now so that I'm not going to have these unnecessary contracts with you. And that's irrevocable. Like I get how there can be an irrevocable one now.
So it's funny. The way you said it's more resonate well with Max, right? Because that's what it should be said. For what it's irrevocable, it's from the controller standpoint, right? The fake court system people. That's a language that at the court, protecting yourself from those control and then system. So that became this name. However, if we hear the first time, it interpret it in a negative sense. So it's important how we speak. So I like that way you said it. Perhaps we need to position that way when speaking to. So that's why Andrew having a hard time explaining to those spiritual scientists, right? He said, well, this is what I'm trying to explain to those community, but they don't get it. Basically, that's why he was explaining to me that time. So I think it's a line.
He was like, now you're speaking my language, because you put it into a way that was up with him on the same level of what he was talking about.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a many lawyer friends. Probably it's not coincidence either. And then a lot of friends, like IT friends, just latch onto me. I don't know why, but must be some reason. Now, anybody else? Did you try unmuting and it did not work? Okay. Anybody else like to chime in before we go to the next segment?
I would like to say, Ryan, that was a great point. It's like we guaranteed our birthright of free will. Is what you will not be able to revoke my free will to be here now in the ancient future. That was really how you put that too.
Yeah.
There are some segments.
It's like that's the only form there could be. Is one that claims you're free. That's the irrevocable one. Like a contract saying you're bound to irrevocable, because that is always revocable because you're 100% free will. So the only thing irrevocable would be dealing with freedom, or 100% free will. All the other ones are revocable, no matter what they try to tell you, or if you're at gunpoint.
Right, it's void.
Yeah, I just saw that Ryan's one of the past lives.
Who has the control room right now, Makiko?
Huh?
Do you have control room right now?
Oh, I thought you meant in a different control room in the pyramids. I don't know. I don't know how to use those things.
Okay. Well.
What's something wrong?
Well.
I do have a control room. What do you want me to do?
Well, one person here is stuck on the mute and wanted to talk.
Okay, which one? I could unmute. Oh, I can't. I could unmute everyone now. Hold on. I am unmuting everybody. Wait, I can't see the Mac. Oh, here you go. I'm gonna unmute.
Well, that's the one that can't get on. There you go. Now
you
you
go.
can talk. Now you can talk. Was there anything else that anybody wanted to say that couldn't get in and talk before, now that you're unmuted?
All right, we're gonna go next, and then could use a side about. We could stop and then have you speak up. And I don't see Kami, and I hope she's still on.
One
right.
thing I'd like to say is
She's still here. She just can't speak.
Oops. Now I have to mute somebody. Go ahead.
oh, I just wanted to say, take that, biatches.
I couldn't hear most of them. Maybe it's intentional, but I didn't hear. This looks like something like a good relief. Sounded like. Zachary, do you want to go next? If everybody else is okay.
Yeah, we can play the next cut.
Yep. Go right ahead.
Okay, this is about the whole point of this lifetime. What we've here volunteered to do. Ready?
Yeah.
So I get some retain some memory. Is this crazy?
No, but that actually is a memory from your birth.
My
When you were going through the birth canal, we are put in a scenario where we must forget our past lives so that we can be the Mikiko or the Andrew now.
mm-hmm.
And that is one of those things you didn't want to forget. And you left a trigger in yourself for the ancient future Mikiko to have that experience so that you can realize it was something you didn't want to forget, and it was coming from the nature of your birth. But the whole point of this lifetime is to realize we are all of our past, present, and future existence simultaneously existing, and the I Am Self-Presence is the master technology to be in communion and union with all of your past, present, and future selves and not be in competition with them. So we can go to their frequency, learn their loves and their mistakes, allow them to be our mystical teachers so that we can manifest something in our now that acknowledges those past beings as our teachers or future
I
beings.
see. So I left people also. I think I left people more than once.
Oh yeah. You're old, meaning you had to spend a lot of times of building a group of beings up to become celestial mediums, celestial healers, and then leave them because you had to go on to your bigger mission. Your goal was to stay a 6th or 7th density being until you had to come to Earth and lower your density, because that was the nature of what Earth was. Earth was lowering from a 7th density world to its 3rd density frequency now.
Yes, I know. It's a horrible thing.
It is, but it was what was necessary for the whole universe to get a healing. And Earth and all of the people here volunteered to heal the universe.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Great.
That was it.
Thank you. I hope these are the two things I want to point out. The most important part is we all came here knowing to save the Earth. Saving Earth meaning saving the universe, because Earth, the planet, and all of us volunteer to take a hit on behalf of all the other planets, which is 5 other planets stuck here in the solar system. So the Earth and us lowered our densities down to the lower third to take all those carbon and pollution from other places. So when Earth ascend everyone get up from this ascension machine to go toward central galactic sun, which is the higher density, which we used to be. The Earth used to be the seventh dimensional planet. So the being came here, our higher density, our ancestors. So we were all that. We all, every single one of us, volunteer, knowingly came here. Now, every single one of us being selected, those universal souls guided for millions of years so that we will be here, the time now. Some of us really struggle to this concept, and then also a lot of hardship in the personal life, and then the things that happen in a certain way, because Zakaru, he experienced there's a lot of millions of beings are jealous of us because they think they should be the one here, not you, not me. Some of them get the personal attack constantly or periodically because of the variable reason that's very personal and very individual. But even though not doing anything, which Andrew say later on, you are doing amazing thing because you are freaking amazing, awesome being. Some of you know more than others. Luckily, newer generations, like a young people so-called, are already awakened, less filter, less karma attached to them. So their natural awakening process is much less challenged, less overload from system, less program running. It's a better program, it's operational systems they basically inherited when they come here. The very, very older generations are very much entrenched with matrix world, except the very few. So those are the ones probably so detached, so they're not even concerned about this ascension pressure. Now, us, I would say sandwich, inside of sandwich generation, which is kind of me and then many of them here, are kind of in between where they're kind of knowing, but not really. But they know, they always question why you're here, because they know there must be a bigger mission, right? It's something talking to them, but consciously ignoring or subconsciously ignoring every second each day. So this is why somebody like Andrew shows up and shaking the brain up and saying all sorts of things and trigger you, and very uncomfortable. He pushes you to a little bit uncomfortable place, and then you have a choice. You stop and decide to heal yourself and ask your heart, or continue to do this, pick up the old shell and ignore. And I'm gonna stop here, and I know there's a couple people wants to jump in, so anybody else want to chime in?
Makiko, I totally agree with that analogy. I think, that's exactly, what my life led me to. I'm a little older than most of you, but I guess I'm just a little hard learner. But anyway, yeah, just I feel now is the time to heal our hearts, because we have to do this in order to help others. That's the way it is. You have to be able to clear all that baggage away and have a clear understanding of what's happening so that we can show others the way.
I'd say, Val, if you are a little older, I don't know, I'm 52, and
Okay, we're
I'm
close.
just very grateful that somehow, some way, I've been included.
Yeah, always remaining grateful every step of the way. Definitely that. And being in tune with nature. I must say I've been outside the last few days and I had to hug every tree on the boulevard. And I got a little tingle back from them. Like they're happy that I'm here again because I'll take care of them through their rough summer again. You know, um, they are our brothers and sisters too. And recognizing that every living thing is being in touch with your heart.
It's so true. Hugging a tree is just magical. You know, I used to remember hearing the tree huggers when I was a kid growing up, and of course the societal view of that was how silly that was. But it's just freaking magical.
Exactly, and it doesn't matter
Truly
where you
have
live.
wisdom and love that is at such a high rate. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I had cars going by. I mean, it's out on the boulevard here. I really don't care what anyone else thinks about it. If nothing else, I'm thinking, maybe they'll go home and hug their own tree.
Yeah, that's
Maybe I
it. It's
just
most
gave someone
important
that idea.
that Val, to be seen doing that, because that plants the seed in other people that, oh, look at that person. So it's kind of like our duty to be the quote-unquote weirdo, goofball,
Yeah,
because then that
exactly. In the
plants the seed, and
return.
they can't really unlearn that. It's planted deep into their subconscious, even if on a conscious level they forget about it. It's there, and then that starts to work
Yeah,
and
that's the
help spread.
scientist in us that knows every living thing counts. I believe it's the scientist inside of us. And we know that every little thing counts, every ant counts. Um, and yeah, to plant that seed is an amazing thing. I mean, my significant other says everybody's going to think you're crazy. I said, you know what? I don't really care. I'm not hurting anybody, and the amazing return is everything along my side here where I can reach the water to is absolutely beautiful all summer. And, if they see me hugging the trees at the beginning of the year, and then they see me tending everything, and then they see how beautiful and how much, I mean, there's so many animals that come into my yard. It's just, it's a wonderland, and they can create that themselves. And so hopefully, yes, I'm planting a seed that spreads far and wide.
And the only people who are going to see you and think, oh, look, she's crazy, those are the people who are going to just call people crazy. There might be a little kid who drives by you who sees you hugging a tree, and that just sticks with them for some reason.
I
Whenever people
actually
see you,
had
you're just giving them what they see. You're
Right, I
offering that.
actually had three little boys and their dad come by while I was outside working, and my dog was outside, and they all stopped and chatted. They were new. They were from a different state, and the boys went in the yard and played with my dog, and I taught him a little bit about the gardening here in this area and when to start and all that. It doesn't have to be somebody you know. You
Yeah.
know, don't be afraid of your neighbors. Don't be afraid to share your knowledge. It's uh, it's an amazing thing to get to know these wonderful people that live around us. You know, it's
Yeah.
don't be afraid to get out of your house and say hello.
And you're spreading the spirit of your grandfather when you're teaching other people about what he taught you. The oral
That's
tradition
so
carries on.
amazing that you said that. Thank you.
It's important. He's smiling down right now just because any time that you do that, you'll think of him, and he'll be there in that moment just because you're carrying on with what he taught you.
That's exactly right. That's amazing. That's like you just looked into my soul and brought that out. Thank you so much. That brought tears to my eyes. Seriously, Ryan. You're beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, you are too.
Mac, were you going to say something?
Um, I lost my train of thought before, but like on this topic of nature, I find it kind of funny how when like you have friends, they go spend a day out in the forest and they come back and they're like, oh, that was one of the best days I've ever had. That feeling should be every day, should be all the time, not just that one time when you need a refresher. Nature, as we're all talking about, it's part of us. So it just I kind of get a laugh from it when someone's like, oh, I wish I could have that feeling more. You can. It's you. It's innate.
We
Be
do have.
natural.
It was like me talking about skipping church and going hiking the other day. I used to have to go to church after school, and it wasn't my favorite thing to do. So I was supposed to wear a dress and everything, but so I got out of it. Basically, I packed jeans in my in my backpack and took off for it was a Kootenai. Kootenai Falls is what the area was called. It's a beautiful hiking spot, the trail along a creek that goes way up into the mountains. So I would, yeah, skip church and go to my church. Commune with my church. Get closer to God was my idea of it. You know, I'm going to get up here higher where I'm closer to God. Cool, huh?
That's kind of the way it is now too, though, with Mac, your statement and stuff. You know, I'm going to post a link in the chat. It's for our Galactic History series with Lance White. It's 20 half-hour shows. Lance White's condensed them to 4 5-part series. So it's first of 4, second of 4, third of 4. And you can watch that. They're tremendous. And Andrew talks about how, like, the electrical lines in our house and the electrical lines being above ground, this is technology that's been instituted to keep us from feeling nature and being in tune with the human resonance and all this kind of stuff, so that we actually have to make an effort to get into nature to reattach to that instead of it naturally being our state of being. So it's really cool information that you can check out about that. But that's one reason why, Mac, you said, why isn't it just natural? Or, you know, people say that felt so great, but then we get back in our house, we get back in the sacred geometry trickster cities, and it removes us from that connection. And so it's something that we have to actually do as a practice.
Yeah, so I have so much more thing I want to add to that about manipulation from sacred feminine, sacred masculine expression of view. But this is going to be totally another, I could go too long on that. So I'm going to stop here. And it was a nice discussion. And I love really the individual, each one of you expressed your feeling, because each time you say something or share, something happened within you and within others. Also, you're communicating directly to your higher self, and telling other spirit and other self of you, hearing it, and that will change and cause a chain reaction. So even a sidebar, even anything, when you feel something in your heart and you feel you want to share even just a second, it's huge. If you share it, then that moment you change something. You're telling your system something they couldn't predict. Because you know why? Most of the time, for most people, not you here, they don't say it. They don't express it. It's programmed. You are not going to do it. And that's a prediction of you by system. By not doing it, you are causing the glitch. You are making more glitch. You are causing the prediction model, you know, tossing the prediction model. So it's less applicable to the younger people, but huge impact on the generation like I'm in. So don't ever feel powerless when you feel that way, because that was supposed to be. Every time you change the course, every time you change your normal route, every time you decided to listen to different music, or every time you decided to say hello to the groucho older man that you never talked to, you're telling the system, hey, I'm changing your model. Believe it, that's what it is. That's how little it takes to change these things. Because that have ripple effect that you don't know, those unseen world and unseen you. they're operating in a different place. And those beings watching you in a different place, you're sending a signal. All right. Do you want to go to the next segment, Mr. Zakaru?
Okay, and one thing necessary after all that. Yeah, baby. All right. That was coming at us, man.
That is exactly telling a system I'm different now. All right.
Well, let's see. Here it comes.
Okay.
So this one should be. Well, we'll see what it is. I do an amazing thing, I think, or the best of the best. One of those. Here it comes.
You are changing this world, okay? That you're manifest here in the now. And there's many millions of other beings who are very jealous of that. Because, again, everyone on the surface of this world is going to be asked to do amazing things. Because we are the best of the best of the best of this universe. And it's the universe who guided us all here over many millions of years so we could save this universe from going into non-existence.
So now everybody has this. I could see some of them have that power. Correct? I mean, every single
everyone does it. It doesn't mean they have the respect for the power or the knowledge of how to use it. Just because you have the power doesn't mean you come with the respect, because the power can be used in very negative ways, and that's why this world is the way it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That was that one.
Was everybody able to hear?
We have the power.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because I mean, I couldn't hear so well, but I know this so much that So
I can hear
Zakaru, do you wanna read? Kind of, you wanna sum up what he just said?
Well, for me, it was just that we have the power, whether we know it or not. And it really ties into some of the other stuff that, we're here for a reason. He called us the best of the best. He says that again in this one of the next segments coming up. But, I mean, that's really heartwarming and builds a lot of confidence in me that, I don't know if I've ever been told that before. How wonderful of a thing to be told how important we are, and I've heard that before. You don't know how important you are, that's how important you are. Eckhart Tolle has quotes in The Power of Now about that, everything the universe wants you to experience, everything you could possibly experience, every blade of grass is important and you're important. But just in the culmination of all this information, for me, and to just keep reaffirming this and cooperating with other sources, that it's tremendous. And right, and Andrew says, and I can really resonate with this, he says, stop being the hermit. And Val, you were just talking about that now, just, get out and say, and Makiko, get out and talk to the grumpy guy next door that, doesn't want to be spoken to and stuff, but stop being the hermit. And I can admit that like speaks directly at me. To go ahead and let it go. Get out there and be, because it's okay. It's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm here. Life purpose. What's my life purpose? Well, it's probably talking to the grumpy old guy next door. My life purpose is to just be here and be.
Yeah. The Valerian and I keep saying 111 and 1111 when you just said
Yes,
it.
1111. And what a message. What a messenger for 1111. That was absolutely beautiful. Realizing that you have the power, you are loved, you are needed, and we have a purpose, you know? That those things to me have really been questions almost my whole life. You know, what is it that I'm here to do? Why, right? But I managed to serve my purpose all along in different ways. And now I look back over this life and I see that, yes, I've been doing this my whole life. I've been the person, the rock in the pond, making the ripples my whole life, talking to people I don't know, making them feel at home, listening from behind the bar as a bartender. I mean, you just don't do a lot of talking, you do a lot of listening. And these people need somebody to listen. And, you know, it's not so much about getting drunk when they start talking. It's not, they don't do a lot of drinking, they do a lot of talking. You know, just be there for one another, no matter where they're at. If they're homeless, doesn't matter, they're still your brother or sister. When I went to San Diego this winter and visited my son, I had never seen so many homeless people in my life. And it brought tears to my eyes. The shape that some of them were in wheelchairs and stuff, it just brought tears to my eyes. Realize that it's okay to walk up and give them a water. It's okay to be nice. It doesn't mean you have to give them a home. It means treat them like another human being. Imagine if you were there in that seat, and just the smile, just the hello, just the water would mean the world to you that day. Spread that love. That's exactly our mission here. We have this purpose. We have this design, this irrevocable contract to be here for each other, to help one another. Let's live it. Let's just don't talk about it. Let's live it. Sorry, I got a little carried away there.
That's very good, though. All you're doing is living it.
Yeah, that's our life purpose, is to be our true, authentic, signature frequency selves. You know, to make the transition. That's our life purpose. You know, I've always thought it's got to be something grand where I end up being, you know, a billionaire, or so, you know, it's something like that. But no, it's just inside becoming once again.
Becoming the gods we are, right? Yeah. Becoming the gods we are. We are that important. We are to become gods ourselves. So let's act that way. I think that each one of us has that in our hearts, and for some reason fear has driven that down. And all of the matrix,
all the programs,
yeah, all the programming,
every angle.
Yes,
we're here not to be something else. We're here to be ourself, to the most we can, the truest to ourself. If you're doing something true to yourself, you're breaking the programming. All of the programs are here to tell you, hey, second guess. Are you not God? Or are you doing something wrong? You should second guess. These are all the programs that comes in our mind or comes from any influence. And as long as you're just staying true to yourself, you're not able to be tracked or able to be on the programs and, you know, monitored or guessed what you're going to do next. You're living free, you're living fully in yourself, and that's why you're here. It's your purpose.
Right, the unpredictable. Being unpredictable can't be predicted because you're acting out of your sovereign free will. And as in the end of the revocations, it states freedom comes with the use of free will at all times. Are we living in our free will? Are we living in our sovereign state of being to reconnect to Earth and the whole deal? And then it was just curious. So Stargazer, apparently you can't talk. Is that correct? And if it is, you know, I couldn't talk on these for a couple weeks because I was having to reread the contract revocations and stuff. So I don't know if you're familiar with those contract revocations. You can contact me. I can get you the set where you can read them out loud and understand those. I don't know, maybe you've got some kind of interference with not being able to talk.
Yeah, he could talk earlier. I don't know what happened. Something must have happened with his computer because he was talking earlier. And yeah, he's pretty active actually. So he's saying his stuff on the side chat.
There's
Move on, Mikiko? Oh, sorry, Mikiko. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. There was two things that kind of that popped into my head with all this talk. So one of my teachers, he shared with me, what is the mystery of life? It is my story. It is the creation that you make all along the way. The second thing that just like popped into my head with all the discussion was, I don't know if anyone is familiar with Deepak Chopra. I was listening to one of his talks, and he was talking about the law of attraction and like what is the most attractive quality, you know, and like you can try to be this or be that, but the most attractive quality is being truly yourself. Because you can't do anything else just as good as being yourself.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. If people just become comfortable with who they are and not try to pretend or look at somebody else like I wish I was that, you know, just be really forgiving of the things that you think about your body or yourself that aren't perfect, because you are perfect. Everyone is absolutely perfect just the way they are. You know, accept that. And if you notice, I don't know if people really notice this, but I do a lot about myself. At first, I think, you know, when I was younger, the outer appearance really mattered. But now, it does not. The one thing I first notice about someone is their eyes. Is because their eyes are their window to their soul. Their eyes are going to tell me whether or not I want to continue a conversation with them in the very first place. You can see all kinds of things in somebody's eyes. Their sadness, their joy, their pain. So you can also know how to react to that person. And some people, it's just a comedian. Like Zach. So, yeah, I think that instead of looking at someone and thinking how they look so much, look into someone and see how they are so much. Because everyone is so much inside. And perfect to me. I'm on my soapbox today, I guess. I think it's my higher self speaking out, guys.
Well, thank you, thank you. I'm having a little connection issue here. So appreciate if somebody's not talking, could maybe this is on my end, so it doesn't matter what you guys do. I want to kind of ask Zachary, is there any more segment you want to learn? You want to run, or this is pretty much it?
Well, there's a couple more to play. If you want to go ahead, I'll roll them.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the next one.
Let me mute myself. Which one you gonna learn next?
This might be the first contact one. So we'll see when it starts playing, we'll know.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
As related to time travel. Those who control time control the future beliefs.
I'm hoping, Andrew, that's been clear.
Starting over.
As related to time traveling. Those who control time control the future beliefs.
I'm hoping, Andrew, that's been pretty much under the control.
Well, you must understand it has no beginning and no end. So there's no way to judge or label if it is in control or out of control, because ultimately it's the universal source that's guiding it all.
Yes.
Even the negative time travelers who have no idea they're being guided by source, because we are leading into a point where we are ending our own frequencies of time, and our DNA as the original progenitors that created us as DNA lineage, so the best beings from around the universe can come and live in these two legs and actually have a chance in the ancient future of saving this universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because these bodies house the best of the best of the best that this universe has created.
We need to live much longer, Andrew.
Yes, we do. But it's a matter of understanding you can live longer by learning the spiritual journey, by having your trance moments in which you experience a year in another world, and you come back and only 5 minutes has passed.
Okay, that's that one. Should I just keep playing them?
You know, let's stop here if anybody has a question, just a question for now, and then let's move on because everything is kind of connected. So let's see. And I'm sorry, I want to share a whole thing, but I don't know it's relevant to all. One of the reasons we went to the pyramid because of my connection and a lot of people here on Earth now connected to Egyptian period. And it has a significant imprint on us, both positive and negative. And it's still being used, those pyramids. In the ancient, before the time now, it's been used more negative purpose to control domination. Now the power is more balanced, it's both positive and negative. But still in a point where it's a lot of negativity, but so there's a lot of positivity. And then he going on about time traveling because of this, the balance continue to shift because of those time traveler. Now, as he said, we are ending this time frequency, this fake time, and we're going back to universal time, which is everybody else is on now. So that's more like a macro theme explanation. So that's the material that he teach. So if you get lost there, it's okay. You could always go back and on your pace, on your time, Andrew's teaching. Now, the following section is about these skin suits that we are wearing. This is actually best of the best of the best. You could go any place. You don't need a spaceship to go different dimension, different planet. Now, yes, there's a lot of limitation because of our belief system and a mass belief system. What he's emphasizing here is how important to the skin suits and then how it's made by, I guess I need to add just a little bit more. The skin suits being made by the, I could say prime creator from the 3 galaxies as they put all the technology together. And this is the best of the best of the best. This is why so many alien species, like 10,500 species, likes to be here because they could incarnate, right? They want to incarnate in these skin suits. Now, with that power over control and domination, so that we could save this universe, right? It won't destroy itself like happened to many other planets. Is this okay up to this point?
Yeah, it's like like you said too. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan, if you had some. We can see all the colors, and we can have all the emotions and all these feelings that other beings can't have. We can feel what it's like to give birth and have heartbreak and joy, and that's a lot of it too.
Yes.
Yes, I've read a lot about that as well, and the things that they can't do. One of the things that we can do that they can't do is that once we have reached a certain point in consciousness, we're allowed to time travel ourselves. We can
Oh,
go up and down in time, and they
you do
cannot
it.
do that.
Okay, let interject. We're doing that all the. You did that. You do. You may be doing that now. You're just not realizing. It's just that's not the best part of it. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, well, they can't do that. They can't get to that level, and so
no, no.
they're
You
rather jealous of that too.
yes. So you as a ballet go into the dream,
Yeah,
and in a certain things you don't feel it in a during a dream, such as gravity is maybe one of them. But
yeah,
the
that's true. That's
tasting.
true. There's a lot less gravity. I like get to bounce around in my dream, and sometimes I think when I wake up, I still want to do it, and I try and I
Um,
can't, and it's kind of frustrating. So yeah,
okay. What
I do
what
do
I
that.
what I wanted to add to that, during a dream, you can't eat the pizza. Well, you could, but don't have that sensation that you have in a 3D. It's like Andrew said, a lot of being wants to come back here because they can't forget about the taste of the pizza and in sex. So,
Well, I was going to say that about that, but didn't know if you wanted to go there. But yeah, recently I was listening to a video, and I don't want to mention other people's names because this is about Andrew, but he was talking about having to do a mind meld with an alien because they had no idea what that was, what bodily contact was, you know, and that feeling of love was, you know, and the person that was mind melding was married and in love, and so the being that melded with him totally like fell in love with him because of that feeling, just getting that mind meld to have that feeling that she had never felt before of love. So yeah, we have so many emotions. Excuse me. Well, we have so many emotions available to us that they don't have, and we take for granted.
well said. With that note, let's move to the bird. Let's talk to that. Let's move to the next section and see, additional. Let's seek additional comment. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, I think this is the first contact episode.
Oh, is there
So
anything?
I'll
Wait,
write that and mute that out.
is there anything else?
I think it's just the one line where he says they're waiting for us to wake up. Boom, and I'll mute it
Okay,
right
all
there.
right. You know what? I think to me that is the important message.
Let it go?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Just let it go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here it comes, y'all.
So you never talk about first contact, which everybody else is talking about. Is your first contact is a similar analogy to graduation?
No. No.
So you never talk about first contact, which everybody else is talking about. Is your first contact is a similar analogy to graduation?
No. We've already had first contact. It just hasn't been made public.
Oh.
You see, we have this scenario where the controlling body of corruption is preventing that knowledge and wisdom being a part of our belief system. There has to be a certain volume of people that believe in a positive reinforcing of off-world beings assisting us versus the very negative imprint we've seen in science and science fiction over the last 50 years.
Yes. I see. So why people still waiting for first contact if it's already happened?
They're deluded.
I see.
And they're the same people that don't do anything. They're not spiritual people. They don't take healing classes. They don't follow the common moral code of do no harm to any sentient kind.
Yeah, makes sense.
They haven't stepped into their sovereign responsibility of being an awake being.
Okay. I don't understand those people who keep making a big fuss about those first contact and this. It's just making things worse.
It's just distraction.
Yeah, exactly. And keeping humanity focused on completely different things. This is not about alien.
Right. It's not about the aliens. It's about us. The aliens are here to see us awaken so we can heal their ass. I'm dead serious.
No, I do. I met so many so-called high dimensional beings that need a lot more healing than we do.
Because we have something they don't. We are 7-color experiencing beings in time. That is the uniqueness of this DNA human skin suit. It means we can use all the colors of this universe, and which is the infinite source of healing, light. And then we are going to teach other beings how to live in human skin suits and be responsible 7 light creating beings.
Now, why do they want to come to this dense skin suits where they probably have more comfortable and more?
Because our skin suits are way better than theirs. It's the higher piece of technology. Our skin suit is the highest piece of technology out there.
It's hard to believe, but
right. It's hard to believe because we're still using fossil fuels and all this other stuff.
Yeah. Andrew,
Okay.
A big
right.
wow on that one. That one was great. That was a lot of information in a little spot.
Well, I always wanted to tell people, right? Don't focus on those distraction, including, it's this being came from the Saturn, and the moon is this, and then so many bad beings live on this, or it's always some kind of distraction. And I met so many those high dimensional beings and manipulating the mind, and I was thinking about who you think you are telling me this, and try to imprint on me using this higher piece of technology, so that as if I am thinking, but this is not me. I had to confront this being that, hey, look, I'm not listening to you anymore. And I know I made enemies, but in a loving way, you need a healing. They need more healing sometimes than we are. And we are the one to teach them, because they are so messed up. Sometimes less mature, right? Spiritual mature being has high piece of technology or happen to be high dimension. Those are bound to collapse. Those are bound to go in a wrong ride, wrong path. And in some of us, I mean, we cannot just listen blindly to those messages just because they came from high vibration, high dimension, because some of them are low vibration, but that's a lot of low vibration, high frequency but lower vibration. Do you know the difference? They're not necessarily highly spiritual evolved, but they happen to be in a dimension. It happens all the time. Now, the one important message, I know this is not from him, important message I want you to know, as long as they have a matter, meaning that even if you see them, if you're taking a shape or any type of density, those include a fifth and sixth dimensional being, as long as they have a mass, until they are completely just an energy, pure energy. They are still on a spiritual journey, meaning that they are here to learn. I don't care they're alien or ETs, high evolved, they still have something to learn. So that we need to accept them in a loving way, that yes, they still need a healing, they still have a learning, much like we do here. So I want to make sure that people understand, always, 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 always listen to yourself first. If it doesn't align with something to assess, something needed to be explored, and I'm going to stop here and then just take a pause and then see how other people think.
Well, I think that's great advice, Makiko. You know, I mean, if I would have had you talking to me when I was younger. No, I'm just kidding. It's great advice at any age, seriously. Take your own feelings first. Follow your heart. Be in touch with that heart. And, you know, you have this voice inside of you, we all do, that tells you, you know, this isn't the right way. Instead of ignoring it, really listen and follow that advice. And it's your higher self telling you, you know, trying to steer you down the right road. At least that's the impression I've always gotten. And sometimes I've ignored it, but I've always regretted it.
There you go. Thank you, Valerie.
You know, we also have a voice inside of us too that sounds like us but isn't us. That sometimes is referred to as the ego. That gets us believing the negative things about ourselves. So I can't do this. I am lack. I am, you know, blah 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 blah. You know, the whiny bitch. The whiny bitch.
We all have a shadow side.
Right, to distinguish which is which. That's what I'm finding is developing some kind of intuition, but to tell, does it make you feel good or does it make you feel bad? And that's kind of a rule of thumb barometer to figure out which voice is which, I found.
37 pages.
And another thing on what Andrew was stressing was like the most highest advanced technology out there in the universe is you're in it right now. It's in your DNA. And we talk about the Atlanteans got into highly advanced technology, and they got away from their natural technology of what they came into the incarnation with. They were already born into the most highly advanced, wanted technology out there, and they got lost in other things and dealing with other entities and other technologies.
You know, Herbert has hobbies, and he built a...
That's true. That's very, very true, Ryan. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Right? Could you imagine if we had, or when we had it, imagine some of us are experiencing this, if we had all of our DNA online, all the junk DNA, the 98% of our DNA that's been suppressed. I mean, how magical. I'm talking about magic.
You can handle the truth. You remember the movie? The Jack Nicholson. Hey, you just need to remember, we were all that. We were all that. We came from, almost all of us came from high dimension. We just don't remember, just temporal amnesia. And we actually...
And it's still right here. And it's still within the memory is still in our DNA.
Yes, yes. And then I understand now why you shouldn't, you should probably forget. Because look what I went through. I spent several months sorting through why I'm seeing this and why I remember those things. Because I was supposed to not remember. So it took me extra time to sort things out. Positive side is that because I do remember, also that some presentation came to me, that I was able to re-experience that time now in this body. So it's relatively easier to understand Andrew's talking about. But just that, it may not worth it, you know. You have no idea how much time I spent to figure out one or two experiences. So there's something to say about it, and then perhaps many of us, and including those high density fourth dimensional being, much to learn, right? Because it's about power. It become power and control, and how we could stay on top of it without abusing this wonderful piece of technology, and then stay true and harmony with planet we live on. So I always go back to his teaching on a shaman's death. That is the beautiful, beautiful piece of reminder. You read this, everything line up after you read that to your daily life. I think that is a day I will be leaving this planet, because I still have some way to go. But I know exactly what is a gap. I know exactly how to manage the gap. That's a difference of me now compared to the me before. I wonder anybody else
Well,
wanna...
should we play the last one?
Oh, we have a more?
Well, it's his offer to come on Hangout.
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's do that one.
Good one, yeah.
Andrew, thank you. I know you. I want to respect your time. Is that something that if this study group has a collective question, were you able to care to answer?
Yes, I will. If you guys put together some collective questions, we'll do something. Yeah. All you got to do is get a hold of Tanach, and we'll put something together, or maybe we can do a Google Hangout, and I'll just go on video and I can talk to you guys.
Oh, that's fantastic. We are like, this is pretty heavy. I ask them a lot of things. It's a 10 class, and each time we meet about 3 hours. And
very good. Very good.
Yeah, so we'll do that. Thank you so much. Oh, they're going to be thrilled. Oh, they're going to be so thrilled.
Very cool. Very cool. I look forward to speaking to everyone.
Excellent, Andrew. Oh, thank you so much. And
you're so welcome. All right, darling, you have a really good day. This has been super fun.
All right, that's it.
So, congrats. I was able to secure him, and I will follow up if I don't hear back from him soon, in a week or so. In the beginning, I know Zachary heard everything. Poor Zachary. Oh, the personal junk, too. In the beginning, you remember? In the beginning, you remember, he was laughing at when I asked, "Oh, I hope you could show up to our, class," and he was like, "Ha ha ha, yeah, sure, like, yeah, right."
I could play that if you wanted to hear it.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have it on this. It was just I only recorded the little snippets that we needed, so I don't have it after all.
Okay, that's all right.
What you had was excellent. Very, very good questions, Makiko. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's been very enlightening today.
Yeah, that's good. That was the whole idea. Now, our job hasn't finished yet. You remember? We have a collective question. I was hoping to use this time to do that, but I won't do it. What the member can do, or especially you, Ryan, and Zachary, you both are very familiar with Andrew's material and the past questions. And then I'm tied up for the next 4 days. However, I'm hoping some of you be able to go back to the members' website if you have still access to. They have a series of Q&A. I may have somewhere too. So let's not ask the same questions being already asked. That's one. The second one, knowing those previous questions is handpicked by Andrew, labeled as the best question asked. What we could learn is the scale and size and the type of topic is relevant to him. So a lot of questions, we probably should refer to the local psychic community or different channel, yes, or maybe just simply picking up the YouTube channel or internet, browsing internet, you have a different perspective. Let's not go there. Let's focus on something that line up with him, which is he has what, 20,000 world basic record access, yes, and then some of them he see the future. So let's focus on first see the example, so understand the vastness of it. The second thing I want you to do what you want to do with your life, the rest of your life. What is your inspiration? What I did is the way I constructed my question, prioritize it. This is where I am now. This is where I want to be. This is my future me. What I need to clear to get here. What event, the past I need to heal from, because past is a teacher, right? Future is inspiration. So I have an inspiration. I have a future. I'm here now. I have a now. The gap to me was a past. So that was my question was constructed. I think you could do the same. And if you're open to it, obviously. And as a collective group, the macro question and your personal journey question will naturally merge. And if it doesn't merge, it's okay. If it's important, let's bring it up. Let's ask him. But it's important to take some time, write it down,
Meditate.
Whatever you need to do. And then we're gonna meet next time. We're gonna meet, which is next Thursday. We're gonna go over. And then I wanna validate. Hopefully, she still has a minute. Very, very beginning. We set our dream. This is what I want to do. You remember planetary meditation? We wrote it out. Yeah, let's read that. That's what you said then. It's okay to change. Let's not forget about what you said. I remember yours, Ryan. It was a good one. If that's future you, the inspiration, are you doing that now? If it's not doing, or you want to accelerate that process, there may be something you could ask Andrew that he could put the pattern of your entire 1,000 lifetime and say, hey, I recommend this to you, right? So we may have a big macro question, but you're the most important one. You remember, you're the universe. So let's take care of you first. Yeah.
Makiko, I'd like to read the DNA thing that Andrew sent out, if we can.
DNA.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I
yes.
read that quickly?
Yes.
It's not very long.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, its DNA is 80% memories. That's one of the first fundamental understandings science and spirituality are going to have to come to terms with. We live in a reality of photonic light that has a bunch of rules in it that says how photonic light beings incarnate, express, and exchange when they pass on, how they express and exchange in another scale, and the DNA is encoding, or the soul, or the light body, is the cipher that uncodes and unpacks the experience. And as welcome back, and many times over, to the same type of living, after a while we store memories in DNA lineages. And this is how we go to the immortality aspect, where we keep getting born into a lineage that has our own memories in it, and has our regular soul family incarnation process in it. so we can become bigger and greater beings of divinity and light. We also live in a time where they do not teach of our DNA lineage. They teach of mathematics and DNA and RNA and how it can easily changed and altered. Well, that is true because DNA is still light in another form. It is visible on one spectrum and invisible on another spectrum. When our consciousness reaches the peak of where we are right now in our cells, there's a part of our superconsciousness that's working with this reality, constantly encoding every microsecond of fraud time into light in our memory. Memory is not physical. Memory, is it tangible? Is it electronic? Is it a form of light that has to be stored into an experience? We, as streams of consciousness, have thousands of subcarrier codes of millions of different experiences inside us, and all we have to do is tune into that memory, and we can go into that stream of experience at any scale we desire. And that's something to really think about.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's great. You know, it may be good, Valerie, probably put the link, if you don't mind, the Facebook page. There is a video that's a beautiful one. I love it. I'm going to host hopefully Max is well this time, but if the Max is not well, I'm probably just going to host it myself. So March 3rd is another Max and then I going to host about the DNA from a spiritual aspect. I like to cover what I learned from Andrew and Max, and from a spiritual scientist aspect, the March 3rd. And then I'm probably going to create the one mini series talk about the DNA. So thank you, Valerie, and thank you,
Yes,
everyone.
and that was sent to me in my email from Andrew, is where that came from.
It's oh, okay. It's a video. It's a script from the video. He has a video format as well. I think because you're a member, because you received that as a newsletter.
Okay, yeah. I don't have the link. I just received that, and I thought it was very profound, so I printed it out.
Okay. If you go to member site, there's a DNA series, and that's one of the how do you say this? The intro section. It comes with a background, and it's the letter shows that it's pretty powerful.
Oh, I'll have to go listen to that too then.
You'd love it. Okay, I better get moving. I haven't read any chapter yet for my class, so it'll be interesting.
Thank you so much for hosting this, even though you're on the road, Makiko. It's been very enlightening, like I said, and very important for everyone, I think. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for yours. So I'm going to stop the broadcast now. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I will see you soon.